Hello everyone, I'm Buford MC, and welcome back to some more GregTech New Horizons. So you're probably wondering what this hole I've got behind me is, and this hole is related to what I want to get done today. So what we're looking at today is the charcoal pile igniter, and this is something I think we need around this time because we need more charcoal, and this is going to help us to get more charcoal so that we can use that in our blast furnaces to get some more steel going. So the reason we need more charcoal now is because the coke ovens we do have, they're just too slow. They can be automated a bit, but it does take quite a bit of investment in order to automate it. And even right now, we can't really fully automate it, but we can get close. It's something we'll do eventually, but I think right now our best course of option in order to get more charcoal is to use this charcoal pile igniter so we can get some quick bursts of charcoal, which we can eventually use in our blast furnaces to get some more steel. So that's what we're going to be covering today. Now there is a quest for this in the Steam Age chapter, which we're going to do this as well. We haven't made it yet, but we're going to do that soon. But I've already done some preparation for this now, and this is related to a multi-block structure, and it's a little, it's not too complicated to make this, but it's a little confusing if you don't really read it carefully. So this thing can be up to a 13 by 7 by 13 in size, and you need to have a top layer directly touching wood logs, and it needs to be made out of dirt. So let me actually show you instead of reading it to you, because I think it'll be easier to show you instead. So if you take a look over here, you can see I have this hole right here. Now, this isn't perfectly the way it's meant to be because some of it's underneath this area right here. So don't pay attention to the size of it you're looking at from up here right now. But basically, we have a hole in the center. This is where we're going to put the actual charcoal pile igniter once we make it. And we have kind of a hole in here. So let's jump down here. And what we've got is we've got a room, which I believe is a 7 by 7 full of bricks in here, and we've got dirt all along the sides, and you have to make sure that all the walls are completely filled with dirt, and you need bricks in the bottom. And what we basically need to do to get this thing running is we need to fill every single one of these empty air blocks with some logs. And once we actually get that all covered up and we get everything going, this is going to begin running, and we'll start getting a ton of charcoal after a little bit of time passes. So in order to get this thing running, we need to do two things still. We need to make the actual controller so that we can get that placed in there. And we need to fill all of this with a lot of logs. Now, this is a lot of logs we're going to need for this. And we need a lot of wood. So that's the next thing we need to solve, is how are we going to get more wood? Well, we have the little bonsais, which we have down there somewhere. We have them over there where we get a lot of wood for them. We get sometimes 4, 5, 6 stacks, depends, because you don't always get drops from them, but you get a couple of stacks every time you harvest them. So it's a decent amount of wood, but it's not enough. Let's go to sleep quickly. However, we do have a new method of being able to get some wood, because we recently made a lumber axe, which is allowing us to chop down trees in one hit. However, in order to effectively use that, we need large trees. But we don't want too large of a trees because some of the largest trees are a little bit finicky when it comes to this, and they don't actually chop all the way, and then it just creates a giant mess. However, we have found kind of a solution on how we're going to be able to get more logs. And that's it. So we found some pretty giant trees, and these are perfect for the lumber axe. Absolutely perfect. They are very large. In fact, the bases of these things are pretty large as well, but they are massive, absolutely massive. So the logs that we have here are, this is a rainforest oak tree. Now, in order to actually make this, you don't actually find it. You actually have to make this sapling. It's not hard at all to make. You just need to get a normal sapling with a bone meal and some sticks, and you get the sapling. Once you have one, you'll be swimming in them, because you get a ton of things. As you can see, I've got a tremendous amount of wood already, and let's kind of just show you through example of how I kind of use this thing. So we have our iron lumber axe, which, by the way, I've already used quite a bit. We're now up to reinforced level 8, so this thing is really, really good. So you'll notice two things when you chop this down. You'll notice we're going to get a ton of stuff in a moment, but you'll also notice, I want you to pay attention to the durability on this thing. We're at 569, 54%. And I want you to notice how much it goes down when we actually chop this whole tree, because this is going to take a lot of durability normally. So what I do is, let me lock this first again. Let's take one sapling, and let's unlock that, and let's break this. Yeah, it just starts raining down logs and saplings and even some apples around. You get a ton of stuff. So this is one tree, and this one I think was a little bit smaller. But let's take a look at how much stuff we actually got from this. And you'll also notice, look at the percentage on my lumber axe, 53%. We barely lost any durability in order to actually chop that down. And that's really thanks to the reinforced modifier. So let's take a look at how much wood we got from that one. And we got about 5 stacks of wood. So basically, with this tree, and we have to place the sapling back, but with this tree, we're basically getting from just one chop of the axe the same amount of wood that we would get from all those bonsais over there. So this is a massive upgrade for us. And these saplings do not take long to grow at all. So we can just basically shift right click and we can put everything back in here. And I've already got a tremendous amount of wood. I've already been chopping trees for quite a while around here. And in fact, let's go chop this one down too. You'll see just how crazy this can be. So, I mean, it just rains down wood. Still coming. Still coming. Still seeing some stuff coming. I mean, it's just insane the amount of wood you get out of these. So, I mean, we're just going to be absolutely swimming in wood now. We do not need those bonsais at the moment. Now, eventually we'll be able to automate those bonsais, but for now we can't. So, I think this is just our best method, just mass collection of wood. We're really not going to have much issue with wood. It does take a few seconds just to run around and gather all the drops just because of how big this is, but we're looking pretty good with this. I'm pretty happy with how this has actually turned out, and this has been a massive boost in our wood production. So, let's go ahead then and start to make that controller, because we actually have the wood we need already, and let's go ahead and make that controller so we can start getting that thing activated. So, I've also, by the way, you probably noticed I have torn down the old blast furnaces over there. We're going to be moving them into the base. I haven't reassembled them yet, so we don't actually have anything running yet, but they're going to be going into this area over here, so let's come over here for a minute. And I've got kind of a sneaky idea on how we're going to combat the pollution from those. So actually, everything's in here right now, so we have all of this stuff in here, but I think we're going to make a few more fire bricks, and that's because I have kind of an idea. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not, but I think it should work. So if we take a look at the chunks, let's take a quick look here. So we've got a chunk border right here. Now, if I'm understanding pollution correctly, when you place a multi-block into a chunk or something into a chunk that makes pollution, the pollution builds up in the chunk that that thing's in. Now, yes, it can spread to the other chunks, but it's usually not going to be as bad as the chunk that the thing is actually in that's causing pollution. So what I'm thinking is I'm thinking of making kind of a little extension into this side right here. Or maybe we could put it on this side, I'm not sure yet, but maybe this side right here, and basically we would have the multi-block blast furnace kind of right on the edge, so we'd be basically standing right next to it if it was right here. And it would just barely be in this chunk, but I wouldn't actually have to go in the chunk to get the stuff I need. And that's kind of an idea I had. Now, the problem with that is, in order to most efficiently make 4 of these things, we have to put kind of like, let's see if I have any blocks on me. Well, I can actually place them down. So, let's just try to show you as an example. We'd have to place it something like this here, this here. It's not exactly like that. It'd be that one right there, but... And then you put the other controllers on the other side, something like this and this. So you'd have to go on one side, and you have to go face the 2 on the other side. Unfortunately for me, that would mean I'd have to go into that chunk to get to the back too. However, we don't have to do it that way, obviously. And the reason I think I need to make more fire bricks is because it's going to be a little bit more expensive. I want to set up 4 of these directly on this chunk, so they'd all be 4 in a row. So it's a little bit more expensive on fire bricks, but I think we've got what we need to do that. And yeah, it's just something I'm thinking about that should make steel, you know, gathering a bit easier. I wouldn't have to worry about pollution really at all. At least I hope not. I don't think I will. There'll still be a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. I wouldn't be entering the actual heavily polluted chunks if I'm understanding the pollution correctly. But yeah, that's just kind of an idea I have in terms of how we're going to handle the blast furnaces going forward. But we still need to get more resources in order to get those things really able to shine. And that's why we need more wood, we need more charcoal. So, let's go ahead and make that pile igniter. So, it's not too hard to make. We just need a couple of things. So, the brick raw iron hole. We are going to need some bricks for that. We need to make another flint and steel, which needs the small steel gear, which we should be able to make that. And we also need to make a small steel spring, which needs a steel rod. So as you can see, I have quite a bit of steel on me, so it's not too big of a deal that we're not running anything right now in terms of getting more steel. And let's go ahead and make that small steel spring. Put all these away, and that should be the flint and steel. Now, I'm pretty sure it has to be a full durability flint and steel, so we don't want to use that. And what else do we need? So we need to make the brick raw iron hull, which is bricks. I'll have to get those. Actually, I need some raw iron, too, which we are... Ooh, we're just a bit short on that, aren't we? Okay, so let's actually do something about that very quickly. Let's see. Let's grab a file. Gonna need to... No, we don't need a file. We need a saw. We need to get some stuff for this. Here we go. And we need to go ahead actually and cook some stuff. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, what we can actually do then, let's go fill up the stuff with logs, because we're gonna need this raw iron just a bit. Yeah, let's do that then, because I didn't realize we were short on raw iron. That'll save some time there. Hopefully we've made enough. And let's get those going. It's only like 4 more ingots, but we don't need much. We need, for this we just need 5 plates, so that's, you know, that's like 9. So that's just enough. Probably should have put a bit more, but let's go ahead and actually work on making the logs, then getting those set up, then while we wait for all that to process. So let's go over here, and we're going to go ahead and get out our dolly, because we need to get the logs first. Still some saplings occasionally fall from these, even when they fully grow. I'm not sure why that is. Let's take this bale here, and this is going to be very slow. I'm also hungry, so that might be part of it. There we go, so let's go running over here. So I have made kind of a little access hatch. You saw that when we came out of it, but we have an access area into the charcoal pile igniter area from right here. And let's put that right there, and let's start working on actually filling this area with wood. That should help us a bit. So what we need to do is just get a bunch of wood. Don't want it going into there. Let's lock that for now. Now, I'll assume this will work with the rainforest oak. I'm hoping it will. It should. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. It's a log. But we need to place everything down in all this. And that actually will take quite a bit of time. But we have another thing that can help us. And I made some things called wands. And these help us to build things a bit faster. So there's 2 wands we can make right now, which is a stone wand and an iron wand. Now, it's not the easiest thing to make, because to make this, you need steel screws, which is not that big of a deal. But you need an iron large plate and iron tool rods, which need to be made using the smeltery, so it's a little bit of a pain to make that. But there is a quest for this, and when you made the first one, it actually gives you 2 more, so it's not that hard to do. So let's use that, and let's start filling this whole thing up. I'll put the first layer like that, break that torch there, and just do something like that. And that should help speed this process up quite a bit, actually. Perfect. So that's 1 layer. The way I prefer to... Well, we don't want to actually do it that way, do we? Because this is going to make everything darker. So let's fill this layer in. Now, these wands, by the way, don't have that much durability. As you can see, this one's already almost broken. That's why I brought them all I had with me. It is nighttime again, so let's go to sleep quickly. And let's continue to build this out. Let's get some more here. Go. There goes the first wand. Let's get the second one out. Now, the problem comes if you miss a single block, you're going to run into trouble. Hopefully we didn't. I think we're good so far. We'll know at some point. Now we have to start breaking these. Well, we need to do this one first. It's gonna make... Yeah, see, it's harder to see this. Let's put that there. That's the only other bad thing also. It's harder to see. Might be easier to do this one manually here. Take a little bit longer, but it'll be easier to do so I can actually figure out what we're looking at. Yeah, this is the kind of most tedious part about doing this. We have to place all these logs down. It does take quite a bit of time, but it's not too bad. Hopefully we don't miss any of them, because if we miss a single one, it's not going to work. How much more we got? Almost there. And then we'll go get that wrought iron so we can actually make the thing we need. I cannot see there. Let's just put a torch quick. And I can't get out. Alright, we'll put that back down there, and then we'll leave that open for now. We do need to cover that pot with dirt, but we'll do that as the last step once we've got everything else. So let's put the extra logs back. So that used quite a bit. Yeah, over 500 logs, because this was full, I think. So yeah, that was a lot of wood we just put in there. But it's also going to give us quite a bit of charcoal. I'm excited to see how much we get from that. But let's go ahead and grab the wrought iron, and hopefully we have enough. So let's go over here. As you can see, I've torn down everything over here. These chests have been moved back over in this area finally, which is where they were before we started the Steam Age. And we should have a couple of our iron nuggets there. Let's do that. And let's go run all the way back over here. So we need to compress these down. And I have kind of solved, by the way, the issues we were having with the tin pipe. So I've increased the size now to large. So let's actually quickly show you that. And yeah, we've got a large tin item pipes now. So the reason these work is because these process, let's see here, large, if I can spell tin correctly, large tin item pipes give you 1 stack per second. And basically the way that works is hopper is what we're exporting to. And that uses, I think, 1 second in operation, too. So it's 1 second. So everything kind of matches up, and it works out quite well. So yeah, it's a bit faster when you do it that way. Let's see if we can go ahead and get that raw iron, get those plates. Should be enough right there to get what we need. Put that in the fortune. We do need to get a couple of bricks, so let's quickly run over and get some of those, which are all the way over here still. Yeah, let's grab a couple. Half a stack's probably enough for now. We'll take half a stack and keep them over there. Let's put those... Yeah, let's put them in here for now. Now we should be able to grab the raw iron. Perfect. So we've still got 1 ingot left, but that's alright. 2 ingots, actually. And now, after all of that, we should be able to go ahead and make this brick raw iron hull. Which we can. Perfect. So we need that, and now we need to go ahead and make the steel rotor still, which is not that hard to do. Just need to get a steel ring, it look like. Perfect, there we go. And that should be the rotor. These are kind of pain to make. You need plates, you need screws, you need rings. Quite a bit goes into making those. But we can do it at least. So there's the steel rotor, and that should be everything we need. There we go. Charcoal pile igniter. So there we go. We've got it made up now. Way to get charged. So this is going to be the key to getting us a ton of charcoal, which is going to fuel our need for steel, I hope. So let's go ahead and head back over there and see if we can actually get this running. Hopefully, we actually got all the logs in place. Because if not, we're going to have to go looking basically for a needle in a haystack if I missed even just one spot. But we'll place it down and we'll see what happens. I'm not sure what it will say right now because the thing's not technically formed yet, but let's put this down. So it says incomplete structure, but that's because we're missing those 2 dirt blocks, I think. So let's go place those in place and we should see what happens. These are the 2 dirt blocks I'm going to use. So if I put these in, something should happen. We'll see it, I hope. Yes, that's what we want to see. So it is running now, and it's going to take about 600 seconds, so about 10 minutes. And once this is all done, all those logs in there are going to turn into something, I think some sort of like charcoal. It's not a charcoal block, but something that's going to give us charcoal. So we have to wait now 10 minutes in order for that to finish. So it looks like we got everything correct there, and that thing's off and running. It looks kind of cool when you actually look at the little particle effects it gives off. Yeah, I think that looks kind of cool right there. But it does cause pollution. It's not too much, though. So yeah, we'll wait for that to finish. So while we'll do that, let's actually tackle a couple of side quests, because there are a couple of them that we need to do. So let's go back into the base quickly and take a look at what we can do while we wait for 10 minutes to pass. So let's go quickly over to our crafting area and take a look. So in terms of the quests, let's actually talk about where we are, and we actually have a reward here to claim. We can get Damascus Steel or Loot Bag Steam Age. Probably going to go Damascus Steel because I don't think we can get that right now. And that gives us a couple of things. For some reason I hear a zombie nearby. There wouldn't be one in here. Nothing can spawn in here. Must be a cave underneath us. Might be a possibility. There have been quite a few caves in this area. Put these coins away as well. And let's put that Damascus Steel over in the ingot chest. Okay, so in terms of where we are on the quest right now, we're doing quite well. Actually, most of these up here are finished. I've done quite a few quests, actually, recently. One of the ones I did was this one right here, which is barrel upgrades. And this was quite a bit of stuff we needed to do. So it starts with the barrel upgrades. You need to get all this different stuff here. And you have to go all the way up to tier 5. It's basically just the same thing. The painful part is this storage upgrade, because to make this, you need 4 steel, a barrel, and a piston. So I've been using a lot of pistons. Actually, I've been buying a lot of pistons, actually, so you can buy them in the coins tab. They're not that expensive to get, but we've been getting quite a bit of pistons in that tab right here, this quest here. So that helped a lot in that, but we got through that one. I think I've done some quests here. This was for drawers, so these were kind of similar. This was barrels, this was drawer upgrades. We made a couple of machines here. This was a large coal boiler. So we don't really need these because we've got the solar boilers, but I just knocked them out just to get them done. So all the quests up here on the top part of the quest book are finished in this tab now. Most of what we need now is related to steel, and then the next main quest, which is to go to the Nether, which is coming up really soon. And we're going to be going there pretty shortly, but it is something we need to prepare for because the Nether is going to be very dangerous. It's already dangerous as is. In this pack with all the mobs, it's going to be a lot more dangerous, I'm sure. So we need to be ready for that. But what we can probably get on with is, could try and make an iron door, actually. In fact, I actually do want to do that because I want to actually use it in the base. I've got an idea on where to put it. In fact, we're going to make 2 of them here today. So let's do that now. Doesn't look like it's too hard. Some steel. That's iron, thankfully. For a second, I thought it was raw iron. We don't have any raw iron. I need to prepare some more, as you already saw. But we need some stuff. Looks like we need some steel for this. Steel bars. Okay, so we need a bunch of steel rods then. Let's make a couple then. Do files. There we go, steel bars. We need a steel ring. Let's do 2 for now. Because we're going to make 2 iron doors. Hopefully. There we go, that was pretty easy. So there's 2 iron doors. Is that the quest? Yep, there we go, factory iron doors. And the reward, We can get a loot bag, more iron doors, button steel. Let's go with the loot bag. Why not? Put the loot bag in here for now. In fact, we'll put the coins as well. So we need also to complete this quest, because you can't just open iron doors, obviously, like you can wooden doors. You need some sort of redstone. It is nighttime as well, so let's go to sleep again. And let's go ahead and do this quest here. So we need to make the pressure plates as well. We need stone slabs for that. Iron screws. Iron springs. That's a lot of stuff, isn't it? A lot of iron stuff right there. What do we need? Stone slabs. Now, I'm pretty sure we've got some of that. In fact, we've got a nice little speed boost as well, so that's quite good. Should have some in here, shouldn't we? Yep, there we go. Stack of those. How many do we need? 10? All those away in there. And we need to make now, looks like we're a couple of iron things. Iron screws, 5 iron springs. We're gonna need more rods. In fact, let's do half a stack. Yeah, let's do half a stack of iron rods. That should help us a bit. File, there it is. We're gonna need another file. Thankfully, we can make these tools really easily. This is a really good thing I made. I'm really glad we did this, because you just come in here, pop some stuff there, and you get a tool very quickly. It's just so easy. Saves you so much time. And we need to get some screws. Well, let's do 20 of them. Well, there goes our saw. We do have another one already. There's that screw. So there we go. 20 screws already. And, oh, that's exactly the amount we needed, actually. We also need to make this iron spring. So we need 2 long iron rods for that, actually. So we need 10 long iron rods now. Let's take a look. We actually have 4 of them already. We just need a few. So how do we make these again? We can use iron rods. We could use the forge hammer as well. Okay, that's good. I think we need 12 of these. We'll see if we can do that in here. There we go. That should be running. Here we go, it's coming in. So as you can see now, actually, in action, yeah, it's much quicker now to get this stuff. It basically, as soon as it's ready, it comes in here now. If you have multiple machines running at once, it's a little bit delayed, but it's not that bad. Yeah, I'm really happy with these machine upgrades we made. They're really nice now, really quick. So we've got the 10 long iron rods. We need to make the spring, which is... Well, let's just do it the normal way then. We need the wire cutter, saw, and file. Saw goes up there. Where's the wire cutter at? There it is. 5 springs. All of this just to make a pressure plate, too. Yep, 10 pressure plates, and it wants 10 buttons. Okay, that's going to be quite a bit of stuff. There we go. Wow, a lot of stuff just to make pressure plates, though. Crazy. Now, we also want 10 buttons, which we just want to use half the pressure plates for. That's fine. I can afford that. Is a retrieval task, though. I don't think we have any, though. That's alright. And that should be the quest. Perfect. So we can get a steam age loot bag, and we'll go with that for now. Put those away. And now, I'll show you where I actually want to put this, because I just think it's going to look better. So, where we're going to put this, you might have guessed it. I'm going to replace these doors. I just feel like it fits better to go into here, because this is kind of a piping area. Kind of makes it look like more of an off-limits area. That did not go the way I hoped. That's better. Oh, well, I'm stuck now. Oh, no, I'm not. I've got 2 more pressure plates. Perfect. There we go. So that works out a lot better. I think that looks a lot better. It actually fits with the walls, in my opinion. Looks really good, actually. I'm quite happy with that. Alright, so let's put these away. We don't need these right now. Let's put them... Well, we don't want to put the door in there, do we? Doors only stack up to 8. That's interesting, isn't it? I never knew that. What else do we need? Well, steel bars we might use for crafting. Alright, it's probably been close to 10 minutes by now. So let's go check on how Mr. Charcoal Pile Ignite is doing. And see if we can actually get our charcoal ready. See what else we need as well. Yeah, I don't think we'll do any of that. We'll go check on the Charcoal Pile Ignite. It's probably been close to 10 minutes by now. So let's go head on over there. And see if we can get our charcoal. Yep, it's done. So let's go and take a look from underneath. This is going to be the fun part, actually. So what we're going to need, I believe, is we're going to need to get our miner's backpack ready to go. And we're going to take this. I think you actually use the lumber axe. I think it's faster. And if we break this, there we go. Brittle charcoal. And you can use the lumber axe in order to get it. It actually is weird because it says not currently harvestable, but you can use the lumber axe. And yep, as you see, when you break this, you just start getting charcoal. 18 there. Now what we need to do is we just need to go all along this thing. And we just need to start going to town on it. And we're just going to get a lot of charcoal out of this. So every single log that we place in here is now nothing but charcoal. And it's going to be interesting to see how much we get. That's why I have the miner's backpack open up, so that we can see all the charcoal actually fall into here. And it won't fill up our inventory too much. But yeah, we're getting a ton of it. With the lumber axe, thankfully, it doesn't take too much time to break through all of this, at least. Gotta remember to get these top parts as well. Of course, we want to keep sure everything's lit up on the brick part. There we go. So mobs won't be able to spawn, because obviously they can't spawn on bricks. But there we go, we got all of it. Not yet. Almost all of it. There we go. Nope, still not all of it. There we go. Nope, there's still more over there. How did I keep missing all that? Now we should have it all. Yep, we have it all now. So, let's take a look at the final tally. Wow. So, that is almost 14 stacks of charcoal right there. Which is probably a little more than a stack and a half of blocks, which, in terms of the time it takes to actually process all that charcoal, I think it's like 4 hours. When we have 4 blast furnaces, I think it's like 4 hours. So, we've got about 6 hours worth of steel processing time just from this. So, it's quite good. So, yeah. Look at all that charcoal. That's a lot of charcoal that we got very quickly. It'd take a long time to get that from just using the coke ovens we have. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, for the pile igniter. Takes a bit of setup, but it's pretty good for making charcoal really, really quickly when you need it, as long as you have enough wood, which you can get very easily from these magnificent trees. I mean, look how tall that is. That goes way up there. I'm not even sure how tall this is, really. I mean, that's gotta be close to 100 blocks. I mean, it's almost as tall as that mountain. I might be tall, I'm not sure. Let's take a quick peek. I'm actually curious. I want to see that quickly. I want to see how tall that is compared to this mountain here. We've got the nice little pathway up here, at least. Makes it getting up here quite easy. Yeah, that's really tall. Get a nice view of the base from up here as well. The trees kind of block it, I suppose, a bit from this angle, but let's see how tall this is. Now, I haven't actually done anything up here. I'm not sure what to do up here yet. But, yeah, I mean, look at that. I can't tell if it's... I think it is a little bit. Yeah, that's definitely taller up than where we are. I mean, that's a massive tree right there. Wow. Pretty cool. But, yeah, you can see the base from up here as well. Gotten quite a far ways from when we first made it into this area. We have made it quite far. A lot of stuff we've got done. There's the pile igniter down there. But yeah, things are definitely starting to come along. We've got the charcoal we need. And Yeah, this is going to be a big help now in terms of steel production. It's going to really help us there. So yeah, I just have to turn all this stuff into blocks, which isn't too hard now that we've got the upgraded compressor. But yeah, I think that's where we're pretty much going to end this one for now. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.